You know what it is. This one's about Lil Jimmy, man. This is about Lil Jimmy and the Chinese connection. So sit back and enjoy the ride. I'm back in my groove. I got my gunshots ready. You know what time it is. All right, let's enjoy the ride. All right. All right, this was about Lil Jimmy, man. You know, I did part one, part two. Y'all been asking for it. I wanted to get the pictures out so you can see the Chinese connection and how I intertwine with everybody. Because when you get in the bag and you got a name and you got a legacy, you know what I mean? You mix with everybody. We don't deal with geographical locations, and we definitely don't deal with rat bastards. You know what I mean? So, you know, it ain't where you from. It's the morals and principles where you stand that make you a man. You know what I mean? If you're a working man, stick to being a working man. Don't cross the line, come over in the field, and then try and say when you get caught coming over in the field, oh, I'm a working man, so I can tell. No, stop it. Keep working. All right, now let's go. So we was in Park. For those of y'all didn't see, you can go back and look at it. Just put in Unique Mecca audio, Lil Jimmy, and the two other videos will come up. We in Park, Lil Jimmy out there, and Lil Jimmy don't run with nobody. You know what I mean? Lil Jimmy run by himself. He the only Asian that's on the compound. So he don't got no car, you know? But he from New York, you know what I mean? And you'll think that he'll run the New York car, but he's like he don't want to be governed by nobody. He running his own ship, so when the Asians do come, he could form his coalition. But until then, he felt he could hold it down on his own because that's what a man do. He don't try and just jump on because the more numbers is over here or the more numbers is over there. They stick where they at. So Lil Jimmy doing his thing out there. The Bloods tried to make a move on him, rolled on him 6 in the morning, rolled up in the cell, and started hitting him up. Bang, 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 bang. So as they hitting Lil Jimmy up, you know what I mean? And, you know, he holding on to the side of the bars. They trying to throw Jimmy over the side, and Jimmy holding on with the one hand and taking the other hand. He's swinging the banging, and he's trying to do what he got to do to stay alive. So now, while they trying to throw him over the joint, they doing all that. His shirt rip open, and they see that he got a bunch of magazines, like straight stunting magazines, ace bandage around his chest. He done made a bulletproof knife protector. You know what I mean? See how you got to get creative and enjoy. Big shout out and a round of applause to the creation of the penitentiary. All right? We create anything we need to survive because that's what it's about. Calm down, y'all. Let me get back to the story because I'm in the zone. Relax, man. I'm in the zone. I'm in the mood. Let's keep this going. So I might talk a little fast, so y'all might need to slow it down and put the caption on the screen or whatever so that you can keep up. So Lil Jimmy going there. They trying to get him over the rail. Lil Jimmy fighting. Blah, 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 blah. They want to whooping Lil Jimmy. Lil Jimmy winds up going in the hole. He beefing with some other people in the hole. They had to put him in the cell by himself. So while he in the cell by himself, here goes dudes trying to make a move on him, but Lil Jimmy ain't having it. First thing Jimmy do is he go sharpen a couple of knives and he ready for whatever go down because that's what it is because he said he wanted to roll dolo. Now, next thing you know, got dude from Indiana beefing with him. Him and the dude from Indiana, they getting the beef. The dude from Indiana handcuffed. Police gave Jimmy a job out there being that he was the only Asian in there for him to be orderly because we all locked in the cell so we couldn't get to him, but we had open bars just like I got behind me. Now, Lil Jimmy gets into it with dude out of Indiana, South Bend, Indiana, for, you know, to be exact. So he get into it with dude handcuff him, and dude been going at it. So Lil Jimmy sat there, and, you know, Jimmy used to go by the dude's cell because, like, you got a cell here, and then behind the cell is a chase, and that's where the plumbing is at. So, you know, the plumber come, they go up there. That's how we get the tobacco in. If you want to know how we get the tobacco in through the tunnel, put it in the comments. I want to talk fast. I want to keep this moving. I want to keep this right to the point because I got things to do today, but I want to give you a video because I've been slacking. All right? Forgive me for slacking, you know, but I'm human and I'm living a great life right now as a free man. Now, so Lil Jimmy going to chase, and he'll take his little, you know, metal knife or whatever he's sharpening, and he'll go behind, you know, Indiana's cell, and he'll sharpen a knife. And while he's sharpening this knife, right, he's sharpening this knife, and Indiana laying down and he could hear it. I'm next door to Indiana because we all got single cells. I'm next door to Indiana, and I'm hearing it, and everybody's hearing this knife going, you know what I mean, on the concrete in the back. Lil Jimmy letting Indiana know, yo, I got something for you, big ass. Because, Indiana was about maybe 6'4", 6'5", with great shape, six-pack, pull-ups, and all that out the gym. Now, so Jimmy scratching that joint on the joint. So everybody wondering what the hell is going on. You know what I mean? So, Indiana, he calls me to the bars, because up in the bars, see how the bars is behind it? You put your arm out the bars, and you hold the mirror like this. You hold a mirror like this to the cell next to you. You can see in the cell to see who you're talking to. So Indiana called me and said, man, I can't be that little Chinese mother. Woo, 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 woo. He back there thinking he's going to intimidate me. I'm going to crush him. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then you hear little Jimmy, because he could hear us through the vent. So you hear little Jimmy back there laughing in Chinese. You know what I mean? He talking in Chinese to dude. He aggravating them. So my man pissed off. So one day they going out, and whenever we go out, police got so lax because they gave Jimmy the orderly job. Jimmy got the orderly job in the unit, in the SHU, right? In the unit that we in. So he allowed to come out, and the police get lazy. They don't like to have to, every time they move an inmate to the shower, to the council, to the rec, to the whatever, police don't like to have to, keep handcuffing Jimmy, put him in the cell, lock the cell. So, being that he's what they call a trustee, because they trust you to be out there. They tell him, trustee, go on in the room, we got one coming down. They yell what they call fire in the hole. Fire in the hole meaning dead man walking. You know what I mean? So they yell fire in the hole. So little Jimmy goes in the room. So Jimmy go in the room, and he'll push the door out, and he'll look at old Indiana, and he'll laugh in Chinese. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know y'all say how you laugh in Chinese. But he be like, and you don't know what he's saying, if he's laughing, if he's saying something, cussing him out or whatever, but he was always smiling when he did it, so I assumed it was a laugh. Maybe it was a Chinese laugh, no disrespect to the Chinese, just keeping it 100, or the Asian people. But, this is what it is, just giving the story, keep up, don't get lost, and do not think that this is about glamorizing anything. I'm just telling you the real how I had to live for 26 years. So Jimmy will push the cell open, and he'll look out, and he laugh at him in Chinese. And we all hear him laughing, and we teasing Indiana, yo, little Chinese dude, he trying to see you, son. You know me, I'm instigating. Yo, son, he trying to see you, son. And he like, man, he ain't trying to do nothing to me, New York. I said, yo, son, you heard him in the back sharpening the banger, so you already know he's sharpening for you. He said, man, I'll crush him, I this and I that. But my big man from Indiana was so official, you know what I mean, that whenever he went out, they made sure they handcuffed him behind his back. Like I said, he about 6'4", 6'5", and about 230, 240, slim cut up. So he go out, and, Jimmy about maybe 5'6". So he goes out, and when he goes out the joint, they got him handcuffed, so they walk in, Indiana to the joint, and, little Jimmy runs out and try to put the banger in him. You know what I mean? He runs, like some Rambo, trying to put the Rambo in him. You know what I mean? And here goes Indiana. While he handcuffed, he took a step back, took another step back, and then took a step forward, threw his right leg up in the air, kicked little Jimmy in his little chest, and pinned him against the wall with one foot while he's handcuffed behind the back. You would think it was like a Van Damme Chinese movie or something, you know what I mean? But he got little Jimmy pinned with the one foot, but he can't use his hands because they handcuffed behind his back. So we looking out the cell, like I said, we take the mirror and we put the mirror out the cell like this so we can see down the hall. So we looking down the hall, and we see, Indiana got little Jimmy pinned, and little Jimmy taking a knife trying to stab him. You know what I mean? The police trying to grab him. You know what I mean? At the same time, trying to stop little Jimmy. But my man wasn't having it. He wasn't having it at all. So they get to going in, the police winds up breaking them up. They puts him in the thing. So now that's the second joint little Jimmy done got into. So little Jimmy done got, transferred. So now it's trying to get transferred. They send little Jimmy down. Mind you, they don't try to jump little Jimmy, throw him over the rail. He had the straight stunt magazines, 8 Spanish around his chest, had to fight for his life. Now he in the hole. He pinned to the joint with his foot on the chest. And then now here they go, third altercation. Now they send him to leave the prison. All this in one prison, man. So if you youngins want to go to prison, make sure you feel free to do that. But I'm telling you, it's not worth it. But I can't stop a man from doing nothing. Cash App on the screen. I don't care if it's $1, $5, or $10. Hit the logo. Make sure it says it was created in 2020, not 2023. Now, so little Jimmy sitting there. They set him down on R&D. He get down to R&D, they got all these Bloods and Crips in there, and they get ready to send them in there, so they send Lil Jimmy in the joint. Don't ask me if they messed up, did it on purpose, because they really don't give a crap. So they send Lil Jimmy down there. When they send Lil Jimmy down there, he ain't there with the Bloods and all this. So, of course, so they take their handcuffs off him, they punish Lil Jimmy again, and they whoops him. So now Jimmy got, a death wish against the Bloods, So we get ready to go to Oklahoma. So mind you, we in R&D getting ready to be transferred when they jumped him again for the third time. Third altercation in less than 2 months trying to get out of a prison to get to another prison that they feel is supposed to be safe. So when they come, they got us handcuffed and shackled, and they line us and they take us outside in a big ass bus. Then they take us to an airlift, like a little local, airport in Lompoc, California, because it was in Lompoc. They take us out to the joint and they line us up in rows, and they line you up in rows by your security, So being that, Lil Jimmy security high, my security high, we in the same row. So I'm sitting there, I'm talking to Lil Jimmy. I said, Jimmy, you sure should have joined the New York car. And he started laughing. He said, nah, then what I'm going to do when I get with my Asians, I'm going to tell them that I had to go to New York for protection while I was in Lompoc. Never that. I'm a Asian gangster. That's how he talked. And he talked that shit. I mean, Lil Jimmy and a few of the other Asian brothers, they run with the blacks. So, because they even had one, he in the picture. I ain't gonna tell no names. He in the picture back there. Y'all trying to figure out which one is which. They had one that was from like San Diego. A little Asian community out there or something. So he came to New York, hooked up with the Green Dragons, and to make a move, and wound up liking the whole atmosphere in New York, stayed in New York. So he picked up the slang, and every word out his mouth was nigga. Nigga this, nigga that, nigga this, nigga that. And here's an agent talking about nigga this, nigga that. But he said so natural, that, he one of us. So y'all can sit there, you rat bastards. I'm not going to let no agents call me nigga. But he was one of ours because something happened. He was going to do what he got to do. But then now, so they got us locked up. They put us on the plane. And now when you get on the plane, right, you handcuffed and shackled on the plane. While you handcuffed and shackled on the plane, the police is not handcuffed and shackled. They call marshals, which is what in society they call stewardess. But they got, they joints on them and they on the plane. And, the crazy thing is, I asked them, I said, y'all got me handcuffed and shackled on this plane with a chain around my waist and my wrist chained to my waist from the chain and my legs are shackled. If the plane goes down, what am I supposed to do? They said, pray to your Allah, to your Jehovah, to your Buddha, because we not going to help you. You know what I mean? I said, what you mean you're not going to help me? They said the rules are we jump off the plane and worry about saving ourselves and let the plane go down with y'all handcuffed and shackled. So you trying to tell me that you're trying to give me a watery grave. He said, well, you better pray that the captain knows how to steer this ship. And I looked at it, I said, man, this is when you know it's real. They said, I'm going to let you die because I'm going to save my ass. If that ain't self-preservation at its finest, So now, we on the plane, we get to Oklahoma. We get to Oklahoma and we pull up to this big building like a New York City skyscraper. And, the side of the plane, when they open the door, that little tube come out that connects to the airport. But it connected to the building. When we walked in the building, it was actually an office building that they converted into a prison. That whole floor that you walk out on, got a bunch of cells and things like that, and different rooms. And it's where they got the doctor, the psych. You know what I mean? The SIS, that's the security investigation service for the jail. And when you go on the SIS, the first thing they ask you is there anybody you ever told on? Is there anybody that you can't be around? Any gang, whatever? You know what I mean? And you got dudes that go in there and being that it's one-on-one, they say, yeah, I can't be around such and such. You know what I mean? But, the SIS would leave the door open and they'll talk nice and loud when they do it to make sure you don't go ratting that you can't survive. They be like, is there anybody you can't be around? And you in there and you see everybody outside can hear you and dudes being there playing tough. No, I could be around anybody. I could be around anybody. So now, they winds up somewhere and winds up getting punished. But let me go back to Jimmy because I'm riding. So now we slide. You know what I mean? So they put us in these little holding tanks and they bring us a little bag lunch, which is like bologna, bologna sandwich with an apple and a boiled egg, and a little, quart of juice or a little thing of water, a little 4-ounce bottle of water, not even a 8-ounce, a little 4-ounce bottle of water. So they come out and been 2 ounces, but they come up in the joint now and they feed us the little joint and we up in there. So, first thing I do is I find me a little corner and I get to working out because I don't know what I'm going to expect when I go upstairs amongst the other killers and drug dealers and gangsters. So I'm down there working out, doing my little diamond push-up. So little Jimmy come over there with me in between my set. He said, let me get in. He get his little set going on. I said, yo, Jimmy, you got problems with these bloods, right? And he's like, man, I ain't worrying about none of that. I got this. I said, Jimmy, you know what I mean? You had this over in Long Park, too. They jumped on you 3 times. You don't think it's time to get with the New York car? He said, nah, I'm Asian. I run with the Asian. That's how official he was. He like, nah, I run with the Asian. I said, all right, so we doing our little push-ups. And then, somebody that's in the cage, he starts banging on the window. And as he's banging on the window, he's talking to some dudes on the other side, in another cage. But it's a big, bulletproof glass window. So they talking and they throwing up gang signs. And I see little Jimmy head snap. Like he smelt blood. He said, oh, man, you know what I mean? So instead of doing the 25 in the set, we doing little Jimmy doing 50. You know what I mean? He trying to work it out because he's so angry. So next thing I know, little Jimmy goes over in the corner and he gets a water bottle. You know what I mean? I don't even have a water bottle around, but he gets a water bottle. That little small water bottle I told you about. He goes in the water bottle and, he comes back and he puts the water bottle down, but it's no water in it. Now it's yellow and brown. And in between each set, he's shaking it up. You know what I mean? And I already knew what it is. Y'all know what it is? Put it in the comments if y'all know what it is that he's shaking up in a water bottle. You know what I mean? But I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to slow down the party, but I know y'all going to keep it 100. So he's over there shaking it up, piss and shit. Shaking it up in the bottle. So the dude talking to somebody, and he the only blood in the cage, but there's other bloods across the hall. But I guess when he went in the room, he must have told them that, he wasn't a blood on the low. So they slid him over here with us instead of putting him in the blood pod. You know what I mean? But I know he wish he would have claimed blood now. But now when he does that, right, say that he wasn't blood or whatever, so they put him in the pod with us. And he talking to his homies and he telling them, I don't know why they got me over here. I'm going to try and get moved over there with you, blood. Da, 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 da. And everything he's saying, instead of using the word C, he's using the word B. Like, yo, I be bullying. You know what I mean? And, we sitting there looking at little Jimmy. You see his little Asian face turning red. You can see the smoke coming from his nostrils. He's so angry, So the dude's yelling to get moved on the other side. So little Jimmy, said, good looking out, you. He went over there and, he stopped working out. And next thing you know, dude up there in the front, he talking to his homies. And little Jimmy, yes, little Jimmy took that little 4-ounce bottle of, it was feces and piss. That little 4-ounce bottle of feces and piss, and he threw it in dude's face and squeezed it. Jimmy only 5'6", so he a little dude. Blood dude had chest sitting out like this. They call him Ness. You know what I mean? He had arms that was on dubs. You know what I mean? Dubs mean over 20 inches on each arm. This dude was a gorilla. Straight gorilla. And little Jimmy only like $5'6", $130, $140. So little Jimmy throws it in his face. So when he throws it in the dude's face, the dude jumped back and he grabbed his face to get it out of his eyes, and he's rubbing feces and urine all in his face. And we all stood back. It's about 100 of us in the room. So we all stand back, and little Jimmy get to doing some little, and this is not making fun of the Asians, but he started doing some little, I'm going to tell you how we told the story when we got to the next jail. Little Jimmy started doing these little Chinese chops and kicks and roundhouses, and he's dogging this dude, and the whole time he's got his face screwed up because he's smelling the feces and urine, and he's trying to rub it all out his face. And little Jimmy like, cock, 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 and he's hitting him everywhere but loose. And the bloods on the other side, they jumping up laughing because they seen it. But what it was is they knew that he pulled a check-in move and didn't want to be with the blood, so they was trying to get him on their side so they could whoop him for for trying to drop his flag when he went to SIS. So Lil Jimmy over there whooping him. Jimmy whooped this boy so bad, right? When the police came in to get him to break up the fight, as aggressive as they are, they ran in, they saw him, they said, oh, and they didn't even want to touch him, so they stopped to put gloves on. While they putting the gloves on, little Jimmy still kicking him and karate chocking him every which way but loose. And we all in there laughing, you know what I mean? So now, they take them out of there, right? Police got feces all on his clothes from grabbing him to handcuff him, so you take him out. And then they take him into other things, so of course they must have asked him what happened, So they looked at Lil Jimmy record. They see that he had beef in the other joints, you know what I mean? Coming from Lum Park, with the blood. So they know they shouldn't have put the dude over there being the blood, but being that he told him he wasn't the blood, they slid him over there. So they know they scared Lil Jimmy might file a lawsuit on him. So instead, they, let Jimmy ride on the charge and they put him upstairs in the unit. You know what I mean? And they took the dude and put him over there with the bloods. You know what I mean? And the Bloods whooped him for putting his flag down when he went to SIS. You know what I mean? So that's how that played out. I don't want to be on here too long. I think I'll do later on today, I'll do the one about what happened when we went upstairs where they got other Bloods and little Jimmy got to deal with a whole dorm full of Bloods. And little Jimmy refused to join the New York call. And me as a black man, even though he's from New York, I'm a black man, I'm a convict, but, when you're talking about Asian and he's claiming Asian and you're talking about Bloods who's black, I can't get involved to help little Jimmy because I can't go against my race. You know what I mean? For another race. Now, if Lil Jimmy would have said they run with the New York car, it would have been different. But when Lil Jimmy said he Asian, that mean that Asian and, go over there. So, that's where we at. So if you want to hear the rest of the story, I know I took damn near a year to tell you part 3, but I wanted to get the picture out so you can see me and the Asians and how official it is in the federal prison. So study that picture. That picture probably wound up in other people's videos, but who knows, you know what I mean? But yo, this is what it is, man. Make sure you cop the book of Roe in Harlem. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Hit the bell notification and make sure you like the video and at least give me an emoji, man. And you already know Cash App on the screen. It was created in 2020. All right, so let me tap out. Been on here long enough. All right.
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
Fresh out the can of 26, he back on the strip, getting back in the mix. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. The Instagram page and the YouTube, you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops Mecca audio. Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spend a couple bands on the Dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a roaring uptown. Baby horn uptown, Dominican bust downs. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now he trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend it air. He started in uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community ours. So we can give back to the youth them. Cause they the truth them. And bless up to all the root men.